Thank you. Second slide. Yes, before presenting the general awareness, I will present you Marsa Maroc for the people who don't know Marsa Maroc in Morocco, in Casablanca. After that, I will present collective individual prevention, classical thing done by the port in order to ensure people entering the port. What's the impact of COVID-19 on the port of Casablanca? And finally, health measures after the general opening of the economy. Second slide. Rosita, and another. Next slide, yes. Marsa, some figures about Marsa Maroc. Before sharing the sanitary situation in our company and the measures taken to face this pandemic, I present some figures about Marsa Maroc. Marsa Maroc is a company with 30% listed in the stock market of Casablanca and 60% of share as owned by the government. We are about 2,000 employees. The turnover of the company is $300 million. We operate 10 ports in Morocco, from Nador to Laayoune in the south of Morocco. We operate all fields, containers, terminals, liquid bulk, cars, solid and general cargo, and passengers. We operate about 1 million TEUs containers, more than 130,000 cars, and more than 2.5 million passengers. Now we will focus on Casablanca figures. Casablanca is the biggest port for gateway in Morocco, because in Morocco we have two big ports: Casablanca in the center, and we have in the north Tangimed. But Tangimed is specialized in container and also in transshipment. Casablanca is the biggest one in terms of gateway traffic. We manage in Casablanca 5 terminals, two container terminals with the capacity of 1.5 million, and our traffic is about 800,000 TEUs. We have the biggest multi-story for car carriers in Africa, and we manipulate 6 million of about bulk product. How the port of Casablanca thrives against COVID-19. The situation of pandemic required us to adapt the Marsa Maroc's activity in order, first, to respond to the government's recommendation, government and also the World Health Organization, ensure the continuity of the port activity and the safety of each of employees. In the beginning of the pandemic, we had a bad situation. People, they don't want to work in the port. We had one objective: avoid any distribution in the economy and keep the port activity fluid, permanently, and open to as it's a strategic field. No, go ahead. Next one. Good. Collective individual prevention. Several actions concerning the establishment of COVID-19 collective and individual preventive deployed to preserve the health of our staff. First, compliance with the guidelines of World Health Organization and our Ministry of Public Health, like washing hands, social distancing, cleaning, and regular sanitizing. Second, providing each employee with a package of masks, gloves, individual hydraulic alcoholic gels, and disinfection. We closed all our dressing rooms, prayer rooms, and restrooms. Mandatory wearing of medical and facial masks in public space and in the offices. Compliance with social distancing, our rules in customs queue, desk, and equipping all access with hydroalcoholic gel. And finally, we reduced the number of personnel working to the minimum while maintaining the fluidity of the operations. Oh, this another one. Go ahead. Good. Also, we developed the online application as prevention solution. Many online applications are used to demilitarize some process, demilitarization of correspondence, and increase of using electronic courier, electronic approval of all our documents, strengthening the digitalization of all process of supply chain and supply and the follow-up of customers files. Deployment of the electronic purchase portal in order to demilitarize the tendering process. And finally, the online invoicing and e-payment. We focused on digitalization. It was a very, very important thing that we did in this period. We had some issues, but we resolved it in order to push all people to go on into the digitalization. Go ahead, next one. Act plan in case of suspect COVID-19 patient. To be ready to act in case of suspected COVID-19 patient, we took other measures like procedures showing everyone how to act and what to do in details. Designation to isolation space with corresponding signature. And we acquired additional medical and paramedical prevention to strengthen to the work of the occupation. But the more important thing what they did is communication with people, and to push people to be confident in order to work with their ease. Another slide, Rosita. Good. Now, what's the impact of this pandemic in the Casablanca port traffic? The port was normally operated in this period, 24/24, 7 days, and with all our terminals were operate normally, container, general cargo, and car carriers. And the impact of COVID on traffic was classified in three positions. The first one is about mainly activity related to the first necessity product like cereals, rice, and other things. For this field, we noticed that we had increase of the traffic. The increase is about 14%. This is due to the massive storage operated by households at the start of the pandemic. The second activity concern general cargo, containers, and equipment steels, wood. We noticed a drop of around between 30 and 50% because of the shutdown. And we expect that this kind of activity will restart after the lockdown. The lockdown started today and phase by phase until 10 of July. And the shutdown was for, I think, two months and a half in Morocco. And the third kind of activity related to the luxury and comfort business, like cars and home accessories. Here, we noticed the decrease for this product exceeding 80%, and we expected that this activity will take more time to go back to its sort of situation, maybe after December or 2021. Next slide, Rosita. The post-COVID strategy. In the short, medium, and the long term, Marsa Maroc will anticipate the post-COVID situation through three fields. One, digitalization. How IT can be a driver for the development of company. We have to look for new solutions to promote telework, e-service, dematerialization. Second, anticipate risks and opportunities for Marsa Maroc. Analyze vulnerable activity through a roadmap in order to minimize the impact in medium term and to forecast for the long term. And also capitalize on good achievements to balance the year with a minimal impact. And finally, look for opportunities to grab in order to face any similar crisis in the future. In conclusion, I think that the action plan to face this pandemic can be done in 4 phases: reacting, capitalizing, developing, and finally the imagination. Reacting, this is the first period. This phase concerns the first 2 or 3 weeks after the beginning of the pandemic. The second phase is for 2 or 3 months, is capitalizing on the learning of the first phase and to adjust in order to improve the management of the system. Third one, look for a new opportunity in order to face and overcome any crisis in the future. And I finish by imagination. This phase allows us to imagine the new start on long-term implication for the crisis and how not only our company, any company should transform to face the impact of the pandemic. It also allows us to rethink the success of previous phases to keep in the long term. Thank you.